So the continuity with Joker's origin is a bit inconsistent. First, he was the Red Hood doing one big heist to get out of poverty, and then he was Jack Napier, a Gotham criminal that did one wrong mission. All these minor differences happen throughout the entire media of Joker's character. Animation, comics, live action, all very similar origins but still different. Get ready for one of DC's biggest mysteries, and today I'm gonna try to reveal it. This is the origin of the Joker. Joker is the clown prince of crime that debuted back to 1940 in Batman issue 1. He quite literally started off as a mysterious character. His first recorded murder happening in this very issue, where he steals a diamond and leaves the cops and wonder how did he do this, shooting a dart into his victim, leaving him with a death smile. But his origin is a little bit less transparent. Let's go through them. We first get a revealment of Joker's backstory in Detective Comics issue 168. We open up with the challenge being given to us, the readers. They basically explain how a criminal with a red hood was fooling Gotham for 10 years. Not even Batman could figure out who it was for over a decade. And in this comic, they're gonna reopen the case and they challenge us to figure out who's the man behind the red hood. So let's see what they have to offer. So basically, a college professor asks Batman to teach a group of students how to be a good detective. So the next day he goes to university and teaches the students by giving them scenarios that they have to deduce, such as deducing if a crime scene is a suicide or a setup, or when to detect if somebody's fooling the police. But the main scenario that I want to look at, which Batman gave them in this comic, is the Red Hood, which Batman tells the students the scenario is based off real events. And now they're reopening the case and it's up to the students to help Batman with a crime he can never solve. Batman explains to the students how the Red Hood was a mysterious criminal. When he first met the Red Hood, his facial features were unidentifiable, and he actually escaped Batman by using gas, which he was unaffected by. But a month later, when he tries robbing a card company, Batman pulls up on him again. And this time he escapes by jumping into acid. And to this day, Bruce never knew what happened to the Red Hood or who he was, until the college students and Batman worked together and figured out the Red Hood was the Joker. And then the Joker explains how he made the Red Hood persona to make $1 million then retire. And he was robbing banks and stuff, but the card company was the jackpot. But when he got caught by Batman, he decided to make a jump into the acid because, as we know, his mask is immune to gas. And although this is his first supposed origin, this is one of many others. For example, the Killing Joke. At first I thought this was another portrayal of the Red Hood origin, but then I realized this contradicts it, which then gave me the inspiration to make this video. It made me realize the Joker's backstory isn't really consistent. So how about I start with the first inconsistent backstory, the one that gave me the idea. The Killing Joke is by far one of the most impactful comics in the DC universe. It's where the iconic Joker shooting Barbara Gordon event comes from. It's where Joker tells a joke that makes even Batman laugh. And they even made a whole movie on it. But how did I come to the conclusion that the origin they give Joker in this story goes against the original one? Well, let's see. Also, I do want to note that the movie is the exact same as the comics, so I'll be using the movie clips as visual references. In this story, we see Joker's origin from his perspective. He seems to be a comedian that's having financial issues, so he's trying to make money for his coming soon son, but he is not that good at his job.
How'd it go? Did they like your act?
They said they might call me. I got nervous and blew a punchline.
The Joker failed as a comedian and in turn failed to make money for his pregnant wife and the baby inside. So he thought of a new plan, one that'll give him enough to leave his trash home and to take care of his wife. He would work for a team of criminals and rob a card company, and his disguise would be the Red Hood.
Now, about tonight. Wear a suit and a bow tie. It's kind of the trademark with this Red Hood business.
And keep in mind, the Red Hood was a thing before this. But this is the Joker's first and only time becoming the Red Hood for the sake of this robbery. I mean, the guy didn't even understand how the Red Hood works.
Right now? Will I be able to breathe?
Not if you smoke. There. You can see, friend?
Yeah, but everything's red. Stuffy, too, and it smells. My voice sounds echoey.
And then after his first attempted robbery, Batman catches him. And this time, instead of escaping into the acid, he trips into it. And then after this, we get the scene of him becoming the Joker.
I'm itching all over. What's that?
Now here's where the issues come into play. In this story, Joker immediately realizes his face changes because of the water reflection. But in the original one, he didn't realize his face changed until he went home and looked at the mirror. And unlike the Killing Joke when he was a family man and wanted to steal to help his wife, in the original one he was a lab worker up until he wanted to steal and retire from his job. And throughout the entire comic, it was up to us to discover who was doing all these robberies behind the Red Hood. And then it's confirmed to be the Joker, meaning he wasn't no amateur at this, unlike the Killing Joke. Which is why he calculated a plan at the card company and knew his mask was immune to gas. Unlike the Killing Joke where he clearly just messes up and trips.
We meet again.
Stay away from me! Don't come any closer, you monster!
At first, I thought the Killing Joke was a retcon to the original origin, basically changing it and giving the Joker a new backstory. And I mean, yeah, they did that in a way, but they didn't do it like, hey, here's Joker's real origin. They just simply gave another perspective that could be his backstory. And one of the many reasons I believe this is because around the same time this comic came out. Yeah, that seems rather important. Batman Confidential is once again another Joker origin, and although it came out in 2006, it's in the same era as The Killing Joke, but this time his backstory was entirely different. No Red Hood business, no family, just a criminal. Although I do believe this origin makes the most sense. So let's get into it. Now in this backstory, the perspective we see on Joker is him being bored of crime. And his name before he was the Joker was Jack. And the reason he was so bored of being a criminal is because it was so easy. And in all honesty, he seemed to not care if he died or not. I mean, when he went to go rob a bank again, he was letting a cop shoot directly at him. And with this suicidal mindset and boredom, it all seemingly drifted away as soon as he seen the Batman. And that's because he's seen how motivated he was to stop his crimes and he loved it. And at that very moment, he knew what he wanted to do. After this event of meeting Batman, he goes on a crime spree. And he's so good at his job, Batman literally had no idea how to catch him. And Gotham was in shambles. And the whole reason of him doing this crime wasn't for money or anything. He literally only wanted to mess with Batman because that was the only thing that made his life fun. And at this point, Batman was mad. And when Bruce finally did meet him, he threw a batarang at him, which gave him his iconic scars.
Well, you look nervous. Is it the scars? You wanna know how I got them? You wanna know how I got these scars?
Yeah, these scars were given by Batman. And then after he was able to escape Batman again, Bruce decides to work with a Gotham crime boss. They eventually cast Jack again, and the criminals this time just put a beating on him. But Jack was basically immune to pain. So they decide to throw him in chemicals, but he escapes again. So they try and shoot at him, but they miss and hit the chemicals. And instead of the Joker falling into chemicals, the chemicals fall on him. And as soon as he escapes, he becomes the Joker. Now here's why I find this origin the most reasonable. Throughout this entire story, they always send the message the Joker needs Batman, such as at the beginning of the story where he didn't find life fun and didn't care about it until he seen Batman and it all changed, or when the crime boss caught him, he protected his life simply because he wanted to torture Batman more. And this all in lines with Joker's character. In the new DC book, which explains the whole multiverse, and you go to the Joker section, they directly say life means nothing to the Joker. All his actions are purely to torture Batman, his true audience. Even in Year of the Villain, Hella Risen, Joker says the whole point of the character Joker is to mess with Batman. And I wonder which origin implements that as his backstory. And there's also the fact that the Joker only came into play because of Batman. And if you didn't know, Batman's Legends of the Dark Knights issue 65, when the Joker thought he killed Batman, he said he lost his audience. And after this, he completely forgets about the whole Joker persona and goes back to living a regular life. But as soon as it's revealed Bruce didn't die, he immediately goes back to the Joker. The Joker's also such an insane character, he's basically unpredictable. Even in Brave and the Bold issue 31, when the Atom traveled to Joker's mind, even when he was a kid, he was insane, literally blowing up his parents and their house because he wanted to. And in Batman Confidential, what do you know, he's so insane that makes him unpredictable to Bruce. And although this origin may sound reasonable, this is one aspect of a multitude of others, spreaded not only in comics, but throughout the entire media of Joker's character. Batman 1989. Once again, another Joker origin, but this time live action. The Joker is yet again a Gotham criminal who's named Jack Napier, but he's working for a crime boss. And in this story, the man who killed Batman's parents was the Joker.
You ever dance with the devil by the pale moonlight?
ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight?
You ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight? A statement he made before he became the Joker and after. But moving back on track, the Joker is once again on a mission for his crime boss. All goes well until Batman shows up, and I think we know what happens after that. And the way he figured out he was the Joker was when his doctor was fixing his face.
You understand that the nerves were completely severed, Mr. Napier. You see what I have to work with here.
So that's live action done, but what I really want to tap into is the Mask of the Phantasm. An animated origin, but there really isn't that much to it. The Joker's a mischief criminal again. He's a part of a gang and his boss's daughter is actually dating Batman. But the father owed Joker and his gang money, and although he paid up, the Joker still killed him.
You? But he paid you. Dad?
Which made the daughter turn into the Phantasm and kill the Joker and his gang for revenge. Now, they don't show the exact way he became the Joker, but we do know his history, and his life after being the Joker is different from the rest of the origins, but it's still similar. But here's the truth about the Joker's origin. The Joker's awareness on the story is one thing I don't see people tap into, although it's so consistent. Joker's Asylum, Clayface issue 1. While the Joker's cleaning up, he proceeds to break the fourth wall by ripping through the page and talking to us. Detective Comics issue 476. The Joker here goes to the corner of the comic book and directly turns the page. Suicide Squad issue 7. The Joker tells Harley this world is fictional so they can be as evil as they want to be. And I may be making a video about that statement soon. But by all means, the Joker is definitely aware of the story. I mean, he even states they're figments of our imagination. But here's why this is all very important. The backstory of the Joker has always been portrayed as a mystery. It came to a point where the Joker didn't know what his origin is. So here's the truth. If the Joker's aware of this story, then he's gonna be aware of all these inconsistencies in his origin. Don't believe me? Here's Countdown issue 31. When the Joker's trying to tell us his backstory, he mentions multiple comics of different origins. One where he's a trash comedian, another one where he's Jack Napier, and although he kinda insults some people here, he mentions the Killing Joke and tells this story because this is the one people believe. Because the Joker isn't like Superman or Batman where he has this set origin. His origin, as the Joker puts it, is like a deck of cards. It all depends on the comic that you decide to read to figure out his quote-unquote backstory. And if the Joker doesn't have a set origin, that means there's room for inconsistencies. And since the Joker is aware of all of that, that is why they say he truly doesn't know his origin, which also means we don't either. Sealing his origin as a mystery and leaving us readers with a sense of wonder, what is the Joker's true backstory?